Hi, I'm Peter.
Well, I can't say I'm Susan or Lucy, so
You're Edmund.
I guess I'm Edmund.
And we are AA Batteries. And we are reviewing Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, The Witch, and the Wardrobe. Let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about the lead characters, Peter, Edmund, Susan, and Lucy. Ronzi, start us off.
The Pevensey children, being the main characters of Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe, they were perfectly cast. All four of them. The girl who plays Lucy just has this whole little girl naivety kind of thing going for her. When she first goes into Narnia, it's all this sense of awe and wonder. She sees the world as this magical place. You've got Susan, who is this kind of mother at heart and the one who's less likely to believe in this stuff. And, you know, she's always like, yeah, I don't know about this. What is going on here? Edmund is really good at just being the all-around bad boy, the one who doesn't get along with the rest, the one who feels slighted and betrayed all the time, who is constantly being treated like a kid even though he doesn't want to be. And then you've got Peter, who is, his dad's off at war, he has to be the man of the house, and so he kind of takes on this role of this father, and that's what his brother really resents, is that, you know, he's telling him what to do and all this stuff, and he doesn't really know how to have this leadership role. And I think these kids just did a phenomenal job.
Now, child actors can either be can be a sign of great talent or great disappointment. Each one of those kids that portrayed those characters did a phenomenal job. And all four of those actors and actresses, they did a very good job. I gave them 1 star.
1 star for me as well.
Now, moving on to the supporting cast.
Yeah.
Ronzi?
Supporting cast such as Mr. Tumnus, the Beavers, Santa Claus. Sorry, it's British.
Father Christmas.
Father Christmas.
Father Christmas.
I thought the supporting cast was fantastic. The Beavers. Okay, here's something I was kind of concerned about. Now, in the original BBC version of the movie, the Beavers were played by people in beaver suits, and it was
I remember
awful.
that. I remember that.
It was just terrible. And so in this one, they made the beavers CGI, and let me tell you, that was a great idea, because they could actually look like beavers and act like beavers, and they were legitimately funny. Mm-hmm. Like, they were the two old couple that just bickered all the time. They were a lot of fun. I thought the supporting cast was great.
Yep, same here. Just some of the supporting cast can be forgetful in movies, and they're like, they're either too bland, too boring, too annoying. But these characters added so much to the story. They were a part of the story, and they added so much depth and so much character. And so that's why I gave the supporting cast 1 star.
1 star for me as well.
Okay, let's look at the villain, the White Witch.
Tell us about the villain.
Oh, the White Witch is probably the most famous villain in the Chronicles of Narnia series.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because backstory, she put Narnia under a curse, 100 years of winter but no Christmas, and she pretty much ruled Narnia with an iron fist. Tilda Swinton did an amazing job in capturing the deception and the evil of the White Witch.
Yeah, she really did. You know, she really portrays that really well. Like, she's willing to be sweet and nice when it serves her, but for the most part, she's just awful.
Yep.
It was really well portrayed. I gave her a star.
Me too, a star. Let's see. Next up, Aslan. Aslan! Yes!
Aslan has been portrayed in so many different ways. I actually have it right here. In this audio radio version, he's portrayed by David Suchet. Is it Suchet?
Suchet.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, is it enjoyably hammy.
All the other voice actors are well, but Ronzi and I, we poke fun at David Suchet's Aslan.
It's so awesome.
He talks like this all the time.
It gets annoying. Aslan is portrayed by Liam Neeson, and the guy trained Batman, so let's be honest, this guy's awesome. But Liam Neeson portrays Aslan in a fantastic way, and here's my reason why. his voice is so powerful yet loving at the same time.
Yes, and he also trained Darth Vader.
He did
He
train
found Darth Vader. Somehow we make a Star Wars reference in these past 3 reviews. So
it's been fantastic.
yes, but Liam Neeson, what a perfect choice.
Yeah.
What a great choice. Like he's comforting, he's encouraging, but at the same time he's bold.
Yeah.
He's courageous, and he's upfront. And Liam Neeson is just a great actor, and he was the perfect fit for Aslan. I gave him a star.
I also gave him a star, and
What's next?
the plot and the storyline.
Okay, the plot and the storyline. I just really felt like the plot was well paced, and it just flowed very, very well.
Yeah, I liked it too. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is a classic story that most people know by now.
Yeah.
It's a classic story. People understand it. People know it, and it's not very hard to ruin. Just because everyone knows it, it would be like taking, it'd be like taking Santa Claus and saying he didn't live in the North Pole. It would just ruin everything we know about Santa Claus. Same thing with Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. You change any major element of that story and it just kind of falls apart. They didn't do that. They kept it together. The story, the plot, it is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's fantastic, and it has a nice pace. So I give it a star.
1 star for me too. Next, what's next?
A look of the film.
The look of the film. Why don't you share?
I like the look of the film for the most part. It's just beautifully done. The wardrobe looks cool. All the sets are awesome. All the outdoor shots are really nice. My only issue with the look of the film is that it's not big enough. When you watch it, it's like the kids travel in one night and they go to the beaver's house and then they go to Aslan at the stone table. It almost feels like Narnia is really small, but Narnia is an entire country. It's supposed to be huge.
I do agree with that, and that's one big thing with the transition from a book into a movie.
Yeah.
Is that that when you read a book, you're not looking at a picture. You're using your imagination to think, oh, okay, this is what it looks like, and this is what it looks like, and when. Our imagination is limitless.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The only limitation on our imagination is ourselves. And when we see it on screen, it's a limitation.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought that Narnia would be bigger. I thought this, I thought that, I thought this, I thought that. Yeah, that's why I gave it a half a star.
I also gave it a half a star.
Okay, what's next?
True to the book.
See, what do you think?
I've read Narnia dozens of times. I love the Chronicles of Narnia, and Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe is always one of my favorite ones. And I'm like I said before, the story's classic. Most people know it by now, from the different renditions and from the books themselves and whatnot. It's a great story. And I feel like this movie portrays it well. There are a few things that are not in the book that the movie has. For example, they show World War II going on before the kids get sent away to the professor's house. Because I feel like that's necessary in the movie, because in the book it kind of starts with them at the professor's house, and they're like, okay, they came here because of the war. Mm-hmm. They actually show a little bit of the war. They kind of show Peter looking towards the soldiers, wanting to fight, wanting to stand up for his country, which kind of gives it deeper meaning when he starts to fight for Narnia, and different things like that. They add little bits here and there just to add to the action. The river scene when they're trying to cross the river and it starts melting. It just adds a little bit of action to it, and a little bit more excitement than them just traveling. One thing that they did add that I really liked was the battle. For the most part in the Narnia books, because C.S. Lewis didn't put a ton of description into it, which is fine. It leaves more for the imagination. He writes just the basics of the battle, whereas in the movie they show a battle. They show people getting hurt. They show people dying. They show people getting turned to stone. It's epic looking. It is very true to the book, and the only things that they add, I feel like they add on purpose because it is a visual medium instead of a written one that you read, and you kind of need to see a little bit more to kind of get the story along. And I feel like it was very true to the book. It was almost perfect.
I mean, there are some differences here and there, but honestly, I didn't care that much because they were still true. They were still true to the main plot.
Yeah.
Of the film.
They didn't change anything.
They didn't change anything to the main plot of the film. And the directors and the writers, they stayed very, very true to the book. I gave them 1 star.
I also gave it a star, and another thing I'd like to point out in the being true to the book, they didn't shy away from the symbolism of the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Very true.
Very strong analog for Christianity and Christ. And Aslan is obviously Jesus. And like, it's very obvious what they're trying to do, and the movie didn't take any of that away. They didn't take away any of the symbolism to say, yeah, we can't show that. Yeah. So I gave it a star as well.
Yes. What's next?
Action.
The action, I felt like was very good. I felt my quip with The Hobbit was I felt like the action was forced. With this type of action, I really felt like it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like it was grabbing my attention. I really felt like each action scene showed a purpose. Mm-hmm. Even the wolves breaking in and entering into the beaver's dam, that wasn't in the books. However, it added more to the drama. Yeah. And I really felt like that was a good addition to the script. And the action was very, very, very good. And honestly, when Susan shoots the dwarf,
that is so awesome.
I'm sorry, I laugh every single time when that happens.
It's great. I love the action in this movie, and one of my favorite parts of this movie is when the 2 armies are facing off of each other. You have the armies of Aslan, you have the armies of the White Witch, and they're kind of facing off each other, and they're kind of looking at each other, just waiting. I don't know if it was intentional, but there is an actual tension in that movie where you're just like, the music just stops and there's nothing. And it's just them looking at each other. Mm-hmm. And then they start running at each other. No music. They're just running at each other. And then they hit and there's still no music. It's just the sounds of pure battle. And it's just like, oh my gosh. For a kid's movie, they really captured the sense of that anticipation before the battle. Because I felt it.
I gave it a star.
I also gave the action a star. It deserved a star.
Enjoyability's next.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. I don't really have anything else to say. I mean, the acting was superb. The action was so engaging. And it was just so exciting to see one of my favorite books of all time come to life on the screen. Yeah.
It's very enjoyable. Kids will love it. Adults will love it. People who are familiar with Narnia will love it. And people who have no idea what Narnia is can watch this movie and be entertained. It's fantastic.
I gave it a star.
I also gave it a star.
Personal preferences next?
I love it. Enough said.
I love it too.
For Aslan.
For Aslan.
A star.
A star. So we both gave it 9.5.
9.5 stars for both of us.
Yeah. Well, that's the high. That's
high praise. That's high praise.
That's very high praise.
To quote Nicolas Cage. That's high praise.
That's. Thank you, Nicolas Cage. You've inspired us.
It's high praise.
Yeah. Just think if Nicolas Cage was Aslan.
Oh my gosh. Children, come. You must sit in the care paravel. I will unfreeze them all with my breath. Oh. It'll be awesome. That needs to happen. Someone needs to make an Aslan Nicolas Cage. Well, I think that's all we got today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to tell us what you liked about this movie, and don't forget to subscribe and like us on YouTube and on Facebook.
If you're thinking of any movies that we could review, send us those movies. So if you want to send those movies on DVD, we will gladly keep them for ourselves. Mm-hmm. But if you just want to write it down, that's fine too.
Indeed.
Yes. So anyway, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Ronzi.
And we're AA Batteries signing off.